Welcome to Liv&Yoga. Today we'll focus on releasing tension in the hips. Through a series of deep hip opening poses, I'll help you find relief and relaxation. Ready to experience a deep release? Let's get started. So come to sit on the ground, on your mat. Feel free to sit up on a cushion if you prefer, especially if the hips are feeling super tight. Lifting the hips can help to drop the knees down. So take a second to get yourself set up. And then once you're there, just find a cross-legged position, either with the shins crossed, or you can bring one heel in towards the pelvis and then the other heel in front. And then from here, just resting your hands on your knees, we'll start to take some circles around the hips. So these can start fairly small. And as we move, check in with yourself, check in with how your body feels. Check in with how you feel today, what kind of mood you're in, what your energy levels are like. And know that every answer is welcome, but just taking the time to check in with ourselves will mean we're more present and connected with our practice today. We're more present with ourselves, and we can learn to accept how we're feeling, and that's going to have an effect on our practice. Good, and then if you haven't already, you can start to make these circles a little bit bigger. And perhaps finding a rhythm with your breath. Perhaps inhaling as the chest sweeps forwards, exhaling as it sweeps back. And you can bring this movement through the spine as well. So finding this arched cow pose kind of position through to this rounded cat pose at the back. Good. And then when you're ready, taking the circles round the other way. Starting nice and gently, warming up through the hips, and giving us time to actually see what's going on there. Feel into the sensations you can feel in the hips. Feel free to close the eyes or just soften the gaze down towards the floor in front of you, turning your attention inwards. Lovely, and when you're ready, bring yourself back to center. From here, we're going to sweep the arms up, try and find length through the spine, maybe looking up between the hands, and then dropping forwards, we'll come towards a forward fold. So just coming as far as is comfortable, and it can feel nice to have a gentle sway from side to side here as well. So see what works for you, and if the hips are feeling quite open, you can come all the way down, maybe resting your head on your hands or on the floor, but otherwise staying up nice and high. Just working at where you're at today. You might find that you can drop down a little bit lower the longer that we stay here for. And seeing if you can use each exhale to let go of a little bit more tension. So finding those places where you're gripping or holding on, seeing if you can relax a little bit there. Good, and then slowly making your way back up. We'll bring the feet out in front of us, a little bit wider than hip width apart, and start to windshield wiper the knees from one side to the other. Leaning back into the hands, and try your best to keep your feet in the same place. And then this movement is focused at the hips. Good, perhaps finding a rhythm with your breath again. Good. One more to each side. And then we'll come back to that cross-legged position, but bringing the other foot in front. And then we'll start again with those circles. Again, maybe starting quite small and gradually making them bigger. Syncing up with the breath and noticing if this side feels particularly different. Good. And if you haven't already, let's take those circles the other way. Good, and then making your way back to center, inhaling to reach the arms up, find length through the spine, look up towards the sky, and then exhale, drop the hands down and start to fold. Again, noticing if this side feels particularly different to the other side, and you can take this sway from side to side as well. Good, take one more breath here. And then start to lift yourself back up. We'll bring the feet back in front, finding that windshield wiper action again. And if you're feeling any fussiness through the knees here, try and keep your feet flexed and just drop as far as is comfortable. The knees don't have to come all the way down to the floor. So just working within your range. Good, and then from here, we're going to shift ourselves into this deer leg kind of position. So we have our right leg out in front at this angle, so the shin is pretty much straight in front of you. And then the left leg is coming out to the side. And now the more in line you have your knee with your hip, the more intense the stretch is going to be. So find a position that feels comfortable and where you can bring this left hip down towards the ground. So if you find that you're here, but this left hip is super high, bring the knee forwards a little bit more so that you can drop the hip down. And again, if you're feeling any fussiness in the knees, try to keep your feet flexed and adjust the legs as you need to. Try your best to find somewhere roughly comfortable. And then from here, we're going to move into a twist, twisting around towards the right. Make sure that you're still breathing here. And this internal rotation of the left thigh is not something that we do often, so this might feel quite intense. And if you want it more intense, shift this knee back and twist. Good, one more breath here. And then unraveling yourself. Ooh. I got a cramp in my hip. So take any movement you need to take, but then we're going to come back into that shape when you're ready and fold over this right thigh. Again, just coming as low as is comfortable. And we're shifting the stretch into the right hip now, outside of the right hip. Staying here, breathing nice and deeply. You're welcome to relax the head down. Notice if you're clenching the jaw. See if you can relax there. Ungrip the fingers and the toes. Good, and then you can stay here, or if you want a little bit more, you can shift yourself into pigeon pose. So rolling your left hip down towards the ground and coming into this pigeon shape. But you're more than welcome to stay in this original posture if that's feeling really nice for you. Good, and as we hold this pose, keep checking in with the body. Keep seeing if you can notice where areas of tension or gripping occur, and see if you can release those areas. Good, let's take one more breath here. And slowly, slowly start to make your way out. Good. From here, bring that left leg out in front, flex the left foot, and we're going to step the right foot over. And then hugging this right knee with the left arm and moving into a twist. Good, and if your body allows, this left elbow can come on the outside of the right knee, using that as a little bit more leverage to get yourself round in the twist. But notice if you're really forcing yourself into the twist, see if you can back off a little bit and work with the breath. So inhaling to lengthen up through the spine, exhaling to move a little bit deeper into the twist. You should kind of be able to lift your hands away and stay in that position. So we're not using our hands and arms to yank ourselves around. Good. On your next exhale, slowly unravel yourself. We'll find those windshield wipers once again. Good. And extend the legs out in front. Take a moment to point and flex the feet a few times. Good, and then we'll take it to the other side. So left leg comes in front, right leg is out to the side. And again, just adjusting the legs to find an angle that feels all right for you. Then when you're ready, sitting up tall through the spine, twisting towards the left. Notice if this side feels any different. And most importantly, keep breathing. Often if we're working with tight areas, we want to hold the breath, but really the breath is going to be what helps us move through the tightness and find release in these different areas. Again, notice if you're clenching the jaw, see if you can relax there. Good. And then untwisting, facing this front left leg and folding forwards. Good, just coming as low as is comfortable. Feel free to relax through the neck and the shoulders, letting the head hang down. We'll stay here for a couple more breaths, and then you're welcome to move into that pigeon pose if you'd prefer. And if you need a reminder of what that looks like, you can shift yourself around, dropping the right hip down towards the floor and then leaning over this front thigh. You might prefer to stay up high, you can stay on the hands, or if you want to, drop down to the elbows or all the way down to the floor. So again, just taking the time to find where you want to be. What is feeling the most nourishing for you today? And if you come back to this practice, a different option might be the one that works best for you at that time. So with our yoga practice, like I said at the start, we can really work at being present with how our body feels now, because that's the most important thing. And not giving ourselves a hard time if, we're not feeling up to or not able to do a pose that we normally like to do or want to do. It's okay to find a gentler version of things. And really, that's the beauty of yoga. We can adapt the practice to suit where we are today. There's so many options for every pose, every posture. Good, let's take one more breath here. And then slowly starting to make your way back up, unraveling the legs. Send this right leg out in front, left leg crosses over, keeping this right leg active, so toes pointing up towards the sky, foot flexed, and then hugging that knee with the right elbow, twisting round. And then you're welcome to turn the head to look towards that left shoulder. Good. One more breath here. And slowly unraveling yourselves, either finding these windshield wiper legs again or extending the legs out. And you can give the legs a little bit of a shake and a move. Good. And then we'll just come to our final pose. Baddha Konasana or cobbler's pose. So soles of the feet come together, bringing them fairly close to the body, as close as is comfortable. Then you can hold on to the shins, the ankles of the feet, and sitting up nice and tall through the spine. Starting here, seeing if we can keep the chest nice and open, bring the chest through the shoulders. And if you find that the knees are really up here, grab yourself a blanket, a cushion, some blocks, whatever you've got close to hand, put it under the bum, lift the hips, and that'll help the knees lower just a little bit. Good, and then either staying here in this upright position, or you can come to a forward fold. Rounding through the spine, letting the head drop down towards the feet. Relaxing the shoulders here, relaxing the jaw, ungripping the fingers. Good. Take one more breath here. And then slowly making your way back up. We'll hug the knees in, give them a little squeeze, and we'll find this cosmic egg position. That's what one of my teachers calls it. I love that name. Where you hover on the tailbone and finding this balancing point. You might feel a stretch through the shoulders. You might be able to feel into this gentle rock as you breathe, this slight rock forwards and back. Good, and then we're going to finish up here. So if you have the time, feel free to sit, perhaps in a quiet meditation for a few minutes, or you can lie down and take Shavasana, whatever feels good for you. But well done for taking the time to practice today. And thank you so much for choosing to practice with me. I hope to see you again soon. Bye.